Okay, I just shut up the pump right now so you guys could see it. As you can see, the barrel is a lot higher than the pond, so theoretically all that water should be suctioning back to the pond, and that's what it's doing. See that barrel's emptying out, all that water is pouring back to the pond right there. And this is what I would do in the winter time, and then I would just leave everything alone. And the beauty of that is that then this barrel will be really empty. Then I don't have to worry about a expansion of the ice breaking the barrel. And as it hits the bottom, you should see that it's fully empty. It's going back down. I turned it off so that I could give you a little bit of a quick update on where we're at with the koi pond build. We're gonna go over some of the adjustments that I made that we've learned from last year that didn't work out. You heard that noise? That's all the water emptying out into the pond. So this barrel is actually totally empty, and if it's shutting down for the winter, I would just leave it like that. It's perfect because there is no water in here, and that's how we would close it, and I would clean it up again next spring and reopen it. But for now, for the sake so that you guys could hear me, I shut up the main pump right now. It's May 11th right now, and we're still like 48, 47 degrees out here. The season has been kind of slow warming up so far. The fact of the polar vortex that we were hit with this winter. Even with our gardening, we are about 5-6 weeks behind gardening season. I'll be completing the pond build this year, and we'll be posting part 4, and which is the final video documentary of this pond build. So about a month ago, I redid the rock work above the pond. That's how it's looking right now, and I cleaned it up a little bit, and I think I like how this is now. It's took a while trying to take out those flagstones and putting them back on top so that I get a nice even layout. Right up there is a little bit higher, and then putting some of the larger rocks, which I'm happy about, and then kind of just slopes down. And this area right here and that side, it's all even. Put some in this area also. So the rock work I'm happy with, and it's gonna stay that way. I think we just made a little bit of a fine-tuning. It went back up. I didn't think it was gonna come back up, but that pot stayed in there, just submerged below that water surface, and it came back out. So you know that's gonna keep coming back every year, so that's kind of nice. One thing that I made an adjustment for is that was on top of milk crates that I put in. So that's where that pot was. This milk crates was underwater, and then we would have that water lily pot right above it. It works well. However, we do lose that real estate, you know, where those milk crates are. So I wasn't too crazy about that. So we modified it a little bit. It's now sitting on a plastic shelving unit. As you can see a little bit over there. And I cut some of the legs to get the same height as those milk crates. We don't really lose any of the real estate. And if you can see it from the bottom there, actually the koi likes to hide underneath there, in between those shelvings, because it's kind of a cave for them. And then it's a little bit longer, so that I put another pot there, and I'm trying to grow some horsetail. So every year I don't have to remove that horsetail and that iris. They're just going to stay there, cut it back, stay submerged in that same spot. On that second shelving unit is now the area where I put the main pump. I took that main pump that was originally sitting at the bottom of the pond and put it up a little bit higher, about 20 inches. And what it does is that it gives me a little bit of reassurance that in the event that some of my pipes or water flow breaks or whatever leak that we might have, that the pond will have some water, about 20 inches. Because right now, if it's at the bottom and I have some malfunction with the pumps or leaks, it would only take about 30 minutes to completely dry out this pond. By having it on the second shelf, it gives me that little bit of security that in that event catastrophic things happen, that those coins will have enough water at the bottom. Now last year, as you remember, I had the pump down there, then it goes out that way with some plumbing, and it goes all the way up here to this pump. Well, that was too much of a run and too much of that exposed PVC, and during the winter time it gives it more opportunity for areas to freeze over and cracks, which it did. We had that little crack on this corner over here. So what I did now is that it's a shorter run. So this coming from the first barrel, it just goes actually directly through here, and then from here we have a flexible hosing that goes to that pump, and that pump now is on the second shelf over there. So it's a shorter run of being outside. Another thing that I tried to do last season is put some sort of like a cable warmer on these pipes, and you'll see that on the final video that I did. It's more detailed and you can see the videos. That was actually kind of a fail, because what it did actually is because of the plastic in the cold environment up here and the water running, I think it made the PVC a little bit crispier, and that's one of the reasons that I had a lot of cracks on the plumbing on the outside of the pond. So we got rid of that, and that's not gonna work. Now with the barrel, I actually added another block and raised this up, so it's a little bit higher on the second barrel. And what it does for me is when the water goes in, it gives me a higher waterfall to hit on the second barrel, and it gives it more aeration. And then with the aeration going there, and then the full force of coming out that way, we have plenty of aeration. That's all needed for that pond. So let's talk about this barrel. Water goes in. You can see the again, the details will be in the fourth and final video on building a koi pond, so you can see how it's put together, but I'm just going to summarize it. Water goes at the bottom. Those are all bags, using a laundry bag full of lava rocks going all the way up to the top. You can see I didn't fill it up all the way to the top, because up this section we're gonna have a pot, and this is where we have taro plants, giant ears, elephant ears growing. And you can see from the last season's video that elephant ears goes all the way up to the top there. It's a very nice plant, covers this whole area up, and that would also be kind of a bog filter format that we're using. Sucks up a lot of the nutrients and gets filled up, and it gets really huge. And another thing that we did a little bit earlier, 2 weeks ago, is that I actually painted the barrels so it looks a little bit nicer, more natural, that matches more with the rock formation here. And then later on we'll have some more plants in here, some pathos. I'll cover this up so it'll look a little bit more natural and hidden, not like last year where you could see the white plastic. So from far away, this is kind of how it looks like now, but with the vegetation growing there, it's gonna look really nice, camouflage the whole thing. And then going to this barrel, this is the mechanical filtration system. Okay, we have in here, and you can see that those are just old filter floss, some old pillows. And again, I have closer videos of that when we edit the final ones. But this is kind of a pre-filter. This is just pond plants, so it can go through there. And right now, with all the gunk that's being collected there, you can see a lot of the algae. I'm washing it at least once a week. So in here goes with this free filter, and when it gets too dirty, we'll just throw that away and replace it with some new ones. And on in here, I'm not going to go through the detail, but you can see there's several layers of pads. These are round pads, and those pads are from Home Depot. They're for buffing floors, hardwood floors, and it just seems to fit perfect on these ones. And then we have several layers of foam in that area, and then at the bottom is another bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket full of other things. That's where I would put some of the barley straws, some carbon media, and some crushed corals, and along with some other biological filters that I have. Okay, so that's good. It gives it a little bit more height. Comes some here, and the water flows back down. As you can see, the koi are still at the bottom. That's a bit chilly. But the koi do loves that new shelving units that I put in there, because they do use it to hide in there in between, and goes in there when it gets too hot up here. Okay, so let's talk about some of the plants that I have on the pond. That's acts as kind of a filtration system also. The bog filters. We got the iris. And then I'm trying to grow some horsetail over here. And then on that is some young cat's tail. So we'll see how that goes. This is the first time I'm trying it, so we'll see. And on this spot, oh, and look, they're sprouting. Those are some taro bulbs that I've put in there. And we'll have separate videos on that. Cheap way how to do that is to just buy it from a Asian supermarket. You can probably get them at like, I don't know, 39 cents a pound. So, and they're basically taro bulbs. We got some iris over here. Got some water hyacinths here that I'm trying to grow. I keep it in here because the koi eats them. So once in the hot summer days, this is multiplying, and I just usually just pick one or two and throw it in the pond, and they'll nibble on it till it's gone. And then I'll go get another one there. So kind of helps them with their diet too, because any plants in there, they'll end up eating all of them. And some of my perennial plants are coming up too over here. Then I did buy a couple of small creeping jennies, so that eventually we'll see. They're just gonna creep through these rocks. It looks more natural. We got one here, one there, and then one in that corner over there. Now this is our organic garden. Last year, you can see on the last videos, we grew tomatoes in here, peppers, and cucumbers. And we had a huge harvest. It was beautiful. It was healthy. But one of the problems that I didn't like with it was it just got to be too crazy, too much and too high. And the tomatoes just took over in the vine, so it looked really messy up here. And I wanted to have it a little bit more of a cleaner look. So this season, the only thing that I'm planting here, vegetables, are peppers, different types of pepper, green peppers, bell peppers, sweet banana peppers, vegetables that we typically eat. And I did put some more horsetail over here. I'm trying to grow them. That's temporarily. Let's see how they do. It's hard to find in my area, so I had to buy those online. And this giant bulb right there, we'll see if it grows. It's a malanga. Again, I bought it from an Asian market, and we'll see if it grows. It's a little bit larger version of the taro plant, so if it does, it'll be a nice height in this area. And we have some Japanese sweet flags over here. And that tree over there is still in the pot that I bought from last year and this season. I didn't think it was going to come back up because it's just in a small pot, but it did. So that will give it a nice shade on this side, because it just kind of goes over the pond there. When it fully leaves, it will give some nice shade. Not sure exactly what type it is. I'll have to look it up. I have the description somewhere. Yeah, that's how it's looking here. And I do really like how the rock forms. Layered out. I'm happy with that. And that's just a cheap LED one light from Menards. It's enough to light the pond when we need to. And I have a remote control on that I hooked up so I can control it from inside the house. As you can see, we've added that. Just completed that about a couple of weeks ago. Again, to PVC that I just painted connection. I'll show you the connections from the back. This is how it looks in the back, and that's just coming from the Laguna pressurized filter. And this actually ran throughout winter time. I just put a cover on here, and it was fine. So this has been running all year round, including the winter time. So it was kind of nice, and I'm trying to hide it a little bit up here with some height, but we will need to put some cover on this during the winter time. As you can see in the previous videos, this is actually how we water the plants, multi-purpose. When we do want to top up the water, change some of the waters, we reverse this and pump it, and the exhaust comes here, and it's perfect for watering the plants here. And I'm actually going to get a longer hose that connects through there, and we're going to use that to water all the plants and the new landscaping that I'm going to be doing on this section. We're redoing this because a lot of the privet hedge that we've had there, They actually died this winter because of that harsh -54 the temperature that we've had. So another project for me to do this year is to really expand this landscaping and do some plantings in here and clean this whole area up, and we'll be closer to our main source of watering system in the garden over here, so that'll work kind of nice. So we still got a whole area to clean up on this side, including in all this. You can see it's still work in progress. But going back in this area, so we just basically used all peppers in here, so that when they do grow, it's not gonna give me that much height. It's probably just gonna be like just right above those rocks, so it'll be a nice even hedge to do, and all consistent, so it's not too messy, and it's all the same type of plants. Sometimes bundling up same type of plants looks a little bit nicer and cleaner. That's how it's looking up here. So that turned out really nice, and that's just a couple of PVC connections that I put together, spray painted to make it look a little bit nicer. And as you can tell down here, it's still a mess. We still need to do some electrical work. I'm not sure if I can get through pulling some hard line up there from the basement through here this year, since I think it's gonna occupy a lot of my time trying to fix up this area up here and the landscaping now that we have to do. And going back to this area, I think next year I'm gonna try to plant corn. I tried planting corn several years ago, but as you know, they suck up a lot of nutrients, so they didn't do so well. So I think next year this will be a perfect spot for it, because it'll never run out of nutrients from the liquid gold that we're gonna do there, and it's gonna provide two things from me. It's gonna give me a little bit more height in here to cover up the pond during that hot summer days, because over here it's facing, that's east, so we get a lot of sun this way. All right, and I think it mimics bamboo trees a little bit, that gives it some height. So we'll see. That's going to be a tryout that we do next year, and see if we can actually yield some corn from it. And we still need to finish up this walkway landscaping here. As you can see, it's a bit messy. Okay, right next to our cherry tree, and this is the look of it. And then for next year's project, this is what we're doing. That's the window that's overlooking from our dining room that we can see the koi pond. I'm gonna open that up and put in a sliding doors there and build that out. I'm gonna relocate that AC somewhere down there, and then from there we'll have a sliding patio door, a French door that's gonna open up down here. And I'm gonna build this into a deck all the way up here, and it's gonna go all the way down there. So we'll expand that outdoor living area over here, and maybe a gazebo over here. And I'd like to relocate my my grill cooking areas in this location, and really expand our outdoor living to the backyard. I'm also trying to grow some papyrus. These are the dwarf variety of king tut. We'll see how it does. These are marginal plants, but I would have to take them inside the house during the winter time. The rock paver wall has a good height through here, so it's kind of nice. Okay, that's how it's looking. And then in this area right here, there's the pond. There's this area. This is where I'm growing the tomatoes this year. Let's see how it goes, because it gets a little bit more messier, so that gives me a little bit more height on there and some privacy. We are still planting our cucumbers. We have different varieties. This is where I have them growing. So what I'd like to do is to have it grow up above this tree and all over there. And we put some on the fence line on that side, so we're harvesting cucumbers on there. I also planted some cucumbers on this side. You can see it from there. And I'm gonna try to let it go up the cherry trees. It'd be nice to harvest cucumbers from hanging from the tree. Be a nice, easier, a little bit cleaner. So that's how it looks right now. Oh, and we still do have that skimmer there. I think next year I'm gonna retrofit a new skimmer. So not too crazy about that, but that's the trick right now. I do have a UV sterilizer, but I don't think I need to hook it up. From last year, if I use the same method, I should have a game clear water for the rest of the season. So that's how it's looking right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the pump again so you can see, and take some last clips, and that just gives you a quick update on where we're at with the pond. And a lot of this, like I said, will be detailed with the videos and explanation when we complete editing the fourth and final video documentary on how to build this koi pond. Okay, I turn on the pump. The water should be pumping right now. You can see the barrel's filling up. And the beauty of it is that you can also see it doesn't quite reach up there. It's just, that's just by accident. I didn't have to do any calculations or anything.